Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos, Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 1, Episode 2 of Acquire, High Adventure in the World of High Finance. This is a hotel financier stock market game that my dad bought. It's a 1966 3M company out of St. Paul, Minnesota. I picked this up on eBay. They've made some revised versions of this over the years. I think in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, they came out with some versions. But I kind of went with the classic. They called it a bookshelf case game. You can sit it on the bookcase. My dad was a big fan of it, and as a kid we used to play this. It gets quite competitive. We're just going to kind of simulate through it. The status so far in this game is Imperial player 1, major stockholder. We've got players 2 and 3 with American majority, and then worldwide in Luxor. We're going to go through the rounds again with these. One of the things we want to talk to you about is just growing the chain. So part about growing the chain is as you add the tiles, you actually increase your stock price. So the more hotels you have in the chain, the higher the buy price of the stock, and then the higher your cash out is when there's a merger. So we'll kind of simulate that as we go through it. Let's go with player 1 again. Player 1 does have H8F for their Imperial Hotel. I do see that no one... We have one other shareholder for Imperial, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have player 1 also buy a share of Luxor. So he'll be the secondary shareholder of Luxor. So Luxor is... Oh, you know, I made him... Actually, I'm going to give him, instead of Luxor, I'm going to give him Continental, because I think he paid the price of Continental. And that was my idea, actually. So, right. So Continental instead of Luxor. Right. And then Luxor is still available. So I think player 1 will buy a share of Continental. And that was at... The reason why I did it was I actually paid it at the price of this column. So to make it easier, instead of cashing him back, I'm just going to switch the hotel. So he's going to buy a share of Continental, and that's going to be for 400. So put in a 5, and then get 100 back. And we've also grown Imperial. So by placing that 8F tile, now Imperial goes from a 2 to 3. So now it's a 500 buy-in and a 5,000 majority shareholder. So we'll replace our stock, and we will go over to player 2. Pontos Fathom Hobbies brought to you by the books that we produce. We've got a bookstore link down in the description. You can go check out the Catu Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence, the Omnibus edition. If you go to the bookstore, you can actually find the 6 volumes that make up the Catu Journals Omnibus: Genealogy of Cthulhu, Psychoanalysis of Rilliat, Archaeology of Yog-Sothoth by August Moldenhauer, and Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, Hermeticism of Hastur, Alchemy of Azathoth by Giuseppe Balsamo. But you can check these out individually or as a group. Great for a Lovecraft fan or a fan of horror. We've also got William Mitchell's Alchemy and Anthroposophy in the Dune Saga. This deep dives into the Jungian alchemical and anthroposophical themes throughout the Dune Saga, and kind of really pinpoints into what makes Dune such an impactful cultural saga, and deep dives into the influences of Frank Herbert, but also implications that Dune has on our coming future world with the rise of AI and bioinformation and things like that. And lastly, we've got the Artificial Psychoanalysis of Desiring Machine, August Moldenhauer, William Mitchell. Also a 3-volume collection. You can buy these individually. You've got Impedance and Admittance in Desiring Machines, Psychoanalysis of Artificial Intelligence, Computational Complexity and Psychiatric Agency. This book will put together a number of different approaches to the rise of artificial general intelligence, what its impact is on humanity, and also the idea of perhaps a psychology or an artificial psychology that's going to be required in the future for artificial intelligence. So go check those out in the bookstore. You can also check out our Patreon link down below. Thanks for watching, and we're back to the game. Okay, so jumping into player 2. Let's go ahead with... We got American... See, our tiles are a little less fortunate here for player 1. For player 2. We got 8 10H. We've got 4D, 7I, and 4. So we can do 4D and 4C actually. Yeah, why don't we do that? We're going to go with another, try to start another chain here. So we're going to do 4C. And I think we'll just sit tight with our shares that we have. Actually, we can become secondary shareholder in Worldwide. So Worldwide would be 300. So we'll get a Worldwide stock for 300. I remember cash flow becomes a problem in this game where you have to be cognizant of the cash flow. Okay, so let's go to player 3. They're actually missing a tile here. So again, we've got Continental 6B. Let's grow Continental to 6B. And that will be our turn. I think we've got secondary, primary. Yeah, so now we're back to player 1. So now player 1, let's see what they can do here. So player 1 has, they can continue to grow. Well, this is 6D. They can do 8E. They can grow, they can keep growing Imperial. Fine, we're gonna grow Imperial to 4 now. So now the share price for Imperial is going up to 600 a share, and it doesn't look like we have any competition on that. So Imperial seems like it's going to be the one that's going to take off. We'll grab our tile, and while we're here, let's just go ahead and buy. I think we'll probably end up taking Worldwide. So I'm going to go ahead and make a play to buy 3 shares of Worldwide and become the majority shareholder of that. So Worldwide for 8. 3, 6, 9. So we just became the 4, 8, 12. So 4, 8, 12. We just become the majority shareholder of Worldwide by buying the stock. So you kind of get the idea here of how this can be competitive. So now, even though we're player 1 and we're majority shareholder of Imperial, there's nothing stopping us from buying these shares, and we also think we'll probably end up merging this at some point. So now we're going to start a bidding war around the worldwide stock prices. Let's see if it happens that way. Okay, so let's go into player 2. Player 2's got 7G. They've got 6C. They can grow Continental. They don't have any shares of Continental, so they won't play that one just yet. But they might buy Continental. So let's go ahead and play we're going to start a new chain. Now we'll start Luxor as a discount one. This is the Luxor's discount. They'll get their 1 share of this, but we're actually going to buy a share of Continental because we know we can raise the price of Continental later. So let's go ahead and buy a share of Continental. Continental's at 3 right now. So that we're going to buy that for 500. Let's buy 2 shares of Continental and we'll become the secondary stockholder. We buy 2 shares of Continental and now we are the secondary majority bonus holder for those 2 shares. Okay, so now you can see how the stocks start to proliferate for each of the players here. So I'll move this just a bit like this. You guys can better see all the stocks that everyone has purchased. I'll move these stocks here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, back down now to player 3. We are able to play 1G. 1G is here. No. I6 or 9I, sorry, 9I is here. 10B. 11I. 11E. 3D. Okay, 3D. Maybe we'll play 3D next turn, and let's buy 2 shares of Luxor. So we're going to buy 2 shares of Luxor to make it 3. Oh, we got to play our thing anyway. And you know what? I'll just play it anyway, and I'm going to buy... actually, I'm going to buy 1 share of Luxor and 1 share of American. So American goes to 300 and Luxor is 200, so that's 500 for these shares. Okay, because I think this will end up merging at some point, and Luxor would be the larger chain, right? So I've got, if we have a merger, oh, if there's a tie for first, we merge the, so in mergers, just to give you some heads up, in mergers, if there's a tie for first, say we both have 1 stock of Luxor and this merges into something else, we add up the 3,000 and 1,500 and we split it equally between each player. So you can see this is sort of a stock split game as well. You sort of have a fundamental of owning shares in something and then seeing the value of it increase. Okay, let's go through one more round. So we got back to player 1. Player 1's got worldwide, imperial, and continental shares. They are majority shareholder in imperial. Let's continue growing imperial if we can. They've got 8I, 8H. I'm going to play 8H. And I might try to stage a merger, like a pump and dump here. If we just buy like a tower or festival here, this could absorb it. We'll see if that does happen afterwards. Okay, over to player. Oh, actually, and then purchasing. Let's go ahead and buy some American Hotels stock. American is at 2. That's 3. Let's buy 3 shares of it, and we'll become a majority shareholder of American as well. Player 1 is buying 3 shares of American. Okay. So next up, we'll have player 2. Player 2 can add, see, player 2 can grab, player 2 will go ahead and play 6C. 6C, oh, that grows Continental. So they're the secondary shareholder of Continental now. And they will also buy 2 shares of Continental. So let's have them, actually they're going to try to be majority of American. So let's have them just buy 1 share of American. That'll be 300. Let's have them buy 2 shares of American. Right, so 2 shares of American puts them at majority. And we'll leave it at that. And then finally, we'll get down to player 3. Player 3 is going to... So player 3 has a majority still in Continental. So there's 9I, 10B, 11I, 1G, 11E, 4A. Not a lot of choices here. I'll throw 4A up on the board, and we'll call that a game. So yeah, we will see you guys in round number 3. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.